So when we went to Acadia in May this year, we were able to do some rock climbing, and we went out to this place called Otter Cliffs, which overlooks the ocean. We were able to pay a tour guide to bring us out there, and we did some climbing on the rocks that morning. So here you can see us strapped into ropes. The ropes are tied into metal anchors that are set at the top of the wall, and then we have to rappel slowly to the bottom of the cliff to be able to climb back up. And so that's what you see in this little montage here as we get situated with the ropes. And this is my first time ever rappelling down, so I was very careful, and that's why the footage is sped up so much, because I took it very slow down. Once I got to the bottom, our tour guide started giving me directions on where to go. But to be honest, I couldn't really hear him, so I kind of went based off of where he was pointing.
Alright.
And at that point, I was good to start the climb.
Alright.
I added a little bit of motion stabilization to this whole footage because just on its own, the camera was shaking a lot on top of my helmet. And there were a few times where, because I'm not used to climbing with the helmet on, I just bashed the camera into the rock, so I was happy to have brought a protective case to keep the GoPro from getting too beat up. This part of the wall was really cool because there was a big flake that was hanging out protruding from the wall, so you could use it as a really nice set of handholds. Yeah, this climb was pretty easy. It was our warm-up for the day. I think it was rated like a 5.6, 5.7. And it definitely feels that way. Really big holds. I tried to take my time and look at the rocks and back at the ocean. I think those are less visible because your eyes turn farther than your head does whenever you're looking over your shoulder. But yeah, this climb was pretty chill. There are really good handholds as long as you know where to go. And I made judicious use of this flake because I thought it was a really cool feature, so I wanted to make sure to use it. Just look at this view over here. It was absolutely beautiful that day. Completely sunny, no clouds. The weather was perfect. So we got really lucky with the time of year we went. So getting towards the top, we got some really big ledges. So it's very comfortable climbing. Nothing too outright scary outside of the fear of heights.
Yeah, open up those hips, dude. You got it.
Yep, as we finish up this climb, it's just a few more placements, and you finish off in this little crevice. You can just shimmy up to get back up to the top of the cliff itself.
Oh my god. Isn't that fun moving on that climb? Yeah. It's like, oh god. Oh, and then there's like a big right foot on the flake. Right. That felt so good. Woo! I really enjoyed the movement on that one. That was fun. Yeah. You have that like little cave at the bottom? Yeah.
And so I showed the first climb of the day, so now we're skipping over to the last climb of the day.
A little bit.
Oh my. It's around noon or 1 p.m. at this point. That little green pad there is used to keep the rope from eroding against rubbing against the rocks too much, which helps preserve its longevity. This feature was really cool because it was a very big rock that had been eroded away from the mainland at some point, and so it's a freestanding rock with a really big crack down the middle. And so I was curious if anybody climbed the crack, and it turns out that it was a pretty common thing to do when you're out there. So I wanted to do it too. I went ahead and went all the way down this crack.
Woo! Hanging out.
And I was told to just hang out. But I got kind of bored of just hanging out, so I decided to explore what I could. Looking around, trying to get a better view, trying to see if I can get a better view of the ocean, so I can climb up this rock briefly, so. After a little bit of fuss, I made it up, and definitely worth it for this view.
I'm ready. Alright, climbing. Woo!
So immediately starting off this climb, I decided to put my hands on tiny holds. I realized I was in a little bit of danger. These holes were definitely smaller than the holes that I'd been used to so far.
It's like a knee bar.
It was at this point that I realized I had to use the other wall as well to get enough tension to climb up the wall. Here we got to that little ledge I passed while I was rappelling way down. Then it was just a matter of evaluating my choices. I saw this ledge in front of me, so I put a foot up on that. So in the first clip, I added in some video stabilization because it was a fairly flat wall, but in this one I kept swinging my head back and forth between the two walls trying to figure out where the best course of action was. And so I figured that might be a little bit too motion sickness inducing to include for this clip. So here's where it gets really tricky. There are fewer well-defined footholds and handholds, so you have to be a little creative with your movement. But with the rocks this close together, you can really just, even if it's two vertical walls, you can just tension your way up. It's just uncomfortable. Searching for a good handhold to try to use. And in absence of that, you just have to squeeze really hard. There we go. And once you're towards the top, the good holds start coming back, so it's just as easy as stepping up on a ladder.
When in doubt, just squeeze it out. Oh yeah!
Here we are, towards the top.
Oh, the heat, the warmth of the daylight sun.
That sunlight hitting the back of your head felt really nice after being so long in that clammy cave.
Woohoo!
And we made it.
Oh my god.